Zane, you should count me out.
We're ready.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Plano West Rotary Club. This is Tuesday, May 18th, and this is our weekly meeting. I am the president, Alex Johnson, and I have the honor of turning the meeting over to Randall Livingston. Take it away, Randall.
Thank you, Alex. It's really a pleasure to be here this afternoon, and I get the fun part of this meeting. Since we're not inducting a new Paul Harris Fellow, I get to have fun in a different way today, and I'm looking forward to that. So with that in mind, with all of the rain that's going out, let's bring some sunshine into our meeting and bring it a little bit brighter. So let's start out with some brags today. I'm gonna look for the person in probably the lightest outfit that's reminding me of the sun, and that's LaShawn. So LaShawn, do you have a brag for us today?
I do. For, I guess, almost 7 years now, I've had an amazing daughter-in-law. And as of May 1st, I have a wonderful son-in-law. My daughter got married. Family was here. We had a great time. And I'm just really tickled about it.
Well, great. Congratulations on that. That's wonderful. Okay. Catherine, we'll call on you next. Do you have a brag for us today? And I think you're muted.
There you go. Sorry about
Okay, there we go.
that. So not this last Friday, but the Friday before, the Barron PTA was able to celebrate and appreciate oh so much our wonderful teachers at Barron. Because of the population of that school, the vast majority of those kids are learning in person. So that staff has been had to be particularly careful and work really hard to keep their kids safe and on track, in addition to paying attention to their virtual learners and making sure they stay along. So we did their teacher appreciation celebration, which went off without a hitch, and we were able to get some additional funding from the Plano ISD Council of PTAs to put on a nice spread for them. On Friday, they were able to take home a pizza dinner to their families. So right after school, they got to walk out and pick up a Papa Murphy's pizza and a Caesar salad and a pound of chocolate chip cookie dough and a liter of soda, so they could go home and put their feet up. And they were so excited. So we were happy that we could do that.
That is wonderful to hear. It's always good news. Again, this is adding a little sunshine to this rainy day for me. Let's go to Shannon. You have on a nice bright blouse and it's giving me kind of a sunny mood. So why don't we go to Shannon? Do you have a brag for us today?
I just got back from a week-long vacation for absolutely no reason other than to have just some gain mental clarity, and I'm ready to get back in it and volunteer, and I'm super excited to join today. So thanks.
Well, great. And it's good to have you as well. And next, probably another colorful and to some degree outfit that's giving me a little bit of sun. Rosalind, would you like to give us a brag today?
Hi, I'm so excited to see you guys. I've missed you terribly. Brag. My 20-year-old daughter she got her first apartment in New York City. She found her first job, part-time job that's able to sustain and help her with her bills. And she recently got an internship for public relations with her university. So I'm super excited.
Wonderful. That's a great feeling to have them off the payroll, isn't it? I'm looking forward to that day. Okay, why don't we go to Glenn? Glenn, do you have a brag for us today?
Yeah, we had a good turnout Saturday for the Adopt a Highway, and Laura came and got registration going, and Isabel was there, and we had a couple of families. And so 2 hours later, we had 8 or 10 bags of trash and got to know each other a little better. It was fun. So thanks for everyone.
Okay, great. That's good news. Okay, Laura, do you have a brag for us today?
Hi there. A brag. Well, I guess our youngest is almost fully vaccinated. Our 14-year-old, she got the first vaccine. She's due to this for the second one, I think, in another week. And then after that, she's done. So we're happy about that. And we're going to have some, I guess, what is it, kind of like, I don't want, COVID-free parties is what comes to mind, but I think Alex and I have decided that we're able to entertain again, which I'm very excited about, because there's a barbecue that has been postponed for well, not 2 years, but April is when I usually do it, March, April timeframe. And here we are. This is the second spring I haven't been able to do it. So I'm dying to entertain again. So we've got some things with the grad night and some other stuff that's coming up. So excited about that.
Well, great. And I guess that gives me a good segue. I need to turn it back over to Alex for the remainder of our meeting because I have 12:05. So you can take it away, Alex.
Thank you, Randall. Thank you very much. It's so great to hear everybody's good news. And I love your highlighting all the colorful, bright outfits. Yay. Well, now what we're going to do, we're going to turn it over to LaShawn Ross, who is going to lead us in prayer. Take it away, LaShawn.
Okay. Lord, we thank you for this time together. Thank you for the opportunities that you give us to serve and to love one another and to practice the statutes that you've given to us. We ask that you would bless this meeting today, guide our thoughts, guide our decisions. And we just ask, Father, that we would, as a group and individually, be able to go out into the world and be an example of your love to one another. And we ask that you would bless all people with those blessings that they stand in need of. In Jesus' name we pray and thank you for all things. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, LaShawn. Now I'm going to ask John to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Take it away, John. You're muted.
It would help if I unmute myself. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Awesome. Thank you very much, John. Well, now what we're going to do is what you guys all know I love to do. We're going to induct a new member. So before we do that, we need to actually vote for them. So let's see. Do we have this all up and going here? Yes. So everybody, I think everybody here is a member. Fantastic. Except for Jerry that's about to come in. So let me come in and give her some instructions. So we are all going to vote for Shannon Modlin to join Plano West Rotary Club. Everybody here is a member except for Julie and Jerry. So you two can't vote, and Shannon, you can't vote for yourself. But what we're going to do, we're going to pop this up on the Zoom polling feature, quickly vote, and then we will let Shannon know she's holding her breath on the results. I told her as long as she doesn't make fun of people, call them names, you know, she'll probably get in. So hopefully she took that advice. Take it away, everybody. Tom Posey, you just hopped in for a vote. He's our club founder. We want to have him vote. Tom, do you see it? Awesome. Fantastic. Shannon, you took my advice. It was unanimous. You have been voted into Plano West Rotary Club.
Congratulations, Shannon.
So
Thank
now,
you.
Shannon, what I do, you get inducted. First, we have a vote, then we have an induction. And so at this point, I'm only speaking to you. So this is Alex to Shannon. So Shannon Modlin, you have been proposed for membership and the club has elected you. Therefore, it is my pleasure to induct you into the Rotary Club of Plano West. I understand you are aware of Rotary's requirements and will follow them. You have offered your services to assist your fellow Rotarians in their community and international projects. As you know, Rotary is a service club, each member performing what Rotary terms as service above self. Besides service, you will have the benefit of powerful bonds of friendships with fellow Rotarians locally and worldwide. I especially commend to your attention the object of Rotary and the four-way test. They form the criteria for Rotarians in their daily lives. When you travel, you have the special opportunity to attend Rotary meetings and meet Rotarians throughout the world. This is another rewarding benefit of your membership. And now, by the power vested in me as president of the Rotary Club of Plano West, I am pinning on you this emblem, this Rotary emblem, and I declare you an active member of this Rotary Club. Welcome to Rotary. We all look forward to the enrichment of our lives in your own by your association with the world's oldest, largest, and finest service organization, Rotary International.
Thank you.
Yay! Welcome, Shannon.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. I'm super excited. Thank you.
Would you like, I am putting you on the spot, but you've seen our induction before. So do you want to say, so you knew this was coming. Do you want to say a few words, everybody?
Well, hi, everyone. I see a lot of new friends and a lot of my, friends that I've had for quite some time. So it's good to see some familiar faces, and I'm just really excited. I think I've told everybody that has reached out to me, this has been on my bucket list for some time, and I am really excited to serve my community in a new way. So this is great, and I'm really looking forward to the service projects. So thank you.
We are so excited that you've joined us because you have served your community a lot over the years. That's why you have so many friends in this club, and we look forward to serving with you in new and different ways. So
Great, thank you.
thank you. All right, well, it's interesting. The person who recruited you into our club is now going to be sharing our foundation moment. So Catherine Goodwin, take it away. You're going to tell our club about our newest upcoming excitement.
I'm not going to take credit for Shannon coming. I think she got here all on her own. She knows so many of us, and I think it wasn't just me, but all of us who made her interested. The thing I want to share today is really exciting, and I want James and Joy to jump in here with anything they need to share, because for all of you who don't know, we have been working on a homelessness project to put forward for a Rotary International Global Grant. If we get that grant in by the end of this month, they will match at 100%. So we're under pressure to get this done. We've done a little work with the city getting plans together and a budget so that we could get this grant submitted. Now, the minimum dollar value on a global grant is $30,000. So this is our first foray. We're trying to launch a pilot project to see how good we can be at this. And then with high hopes moving forward, maybe doing some even bigger projects for our community in the future around homelessness. So yesterday morning, so we are starting on those plans, but yesterday morning, Joy and James and I had the great privilege of meeting and discussing this project with a group called Hope Restored Missions. And this was to collaborate with them. As you know, we provide the helping hands, but we need to collaborate with a local organization so that they actually own the project and can work the project and continue this sustainability. Again, sustainability means we want to start this, and if we can get this pilot project to work, it will go forward into other communities with the help, hopefully, of other Rotary clubs as their backups. And this particular one is a beginning step, and it beginning in a lot of ways. A lot of homelessness. It's a chicken egg issue in terms of these individuals not having identification documentations. Through whatever various circumstances, they've lost their identity documentation. And think about that. Think about how many times a day or in your life that you need to prove to somebody who you are so that you can move forward and get a job, find a place to live, join into organizations that you need to, open a bank account, all kinds of things that are essential to us living our lives productively and moving forward. So our project is to work with the Hope Restored mission to create, well, to move forward on a plan that they already have and they've been doing on a small scale, helping homeless individuals find their identification documentation. They provide an address for that information to get to, as well as messaging and ways for them to then, once they've got their identity information, to make the connections that they need to get their lives back on track. And the beautiful thing about these folks is literally in their name, and that is their focus is to provide hope. Hope for anybody who has lost it. And the whole idea is to help homeless find the home, wherever that is. Could be here, could be back home with their family, could be in a place that can take good care of them. So I'm kind of tearing up because I'm so excited that we can work with these folks and provide the service. So Joy or James, if you want to say something about that, I'd appreciate it.
Well, quickly, I'll just add, Catherine, thank you. I think Joy and Catherine would all agree that in our conversation with Ms. Monroe, I guess the ED of the Hope Restored Mission yesterday, she was amazingly enthusiastic about this relationship. And you never know how things will happen too. And it's just, everything just worked out. Shanette Eden with the city of Plano, she connected us with Miss Monroe, but I've known Miss Monroe for a while anyway, because she's in our homeless coalition meeting with Joy and me. So it worked itself out. The city, Hope Restored Mission and Plano West Rotary Club, this is a collaboration that was made in heaven, I would think, because it's doing so much. And we have a propensity to forget about how essential just having an idea is to collect Social Security, to do anything. One has to have an ID. And this is our vehicle. And I don't know if Catherine said it, but for this particular group, it's also not just a local group, it's a global group as well. Well, I'm saying, so are we, the Rotary Club, we're global as well. So the collaboration works out really well. Joy, I apologize, you can add to this.
No, I'm just super excited. It seemed like when we met with Miss Monroe yesterday that it was just a match made in heaven, like James said, that they also provide a lot of case management stuff, which helps individuals. I was impressed because they had an individual that needed clothes. Well, they provided clothes for this gentleman. They provide shoes for people. They help them find housing. So all of those pieces fit together to where they're treating that whole person. And it all builds upon getting IDs. So that thing that we take for granted every day, you can't rent a hotel room, you can't enter a homeless shelter. You have to have an identification to be able to do those things. So it's critical, but it's awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah, and I do believe the city wants this to happen as well. I think the city is enthusiastic about this particular situation. And as we communicated yesterday, we looked at how we would interact, and certainly our neighborhood police department and mental health department, all of us, they play a role in making this thing work. So commendable job, Catherine, commendable job, Joy, and certainly the city and Hope Restored. I can't thank you guys enough for leading this.
Catherine, great job on leading it. I think James is kind of understating the enthusiasm of the city. They've got 3 employees on this project team. They're 3 experts in homelessness, and they put together the plan, the budget. They are just being an equal, enthusiastic, amazing partner. So I can't ask for, I would never dream that we've gotten the level of support and cooperation from the city. So I will say yay, and there's no one from the city here. So it's not like I'm trying to kiss anybody's butt, but they have just been phenomenal. And so I thank you for the 3 of you for being a part of this and Catherine leading it. So that's our foundation moment, because this is being driven by our ability to apply for a global grant through the Rotary Foundation. And this will be a long-term sustainable project, meaning our perspective is we're initiating the Rotary component from a grant, but we're also going to be providing the volunteers and the support with the agency on a regular basis. And then we're going to be connecting with other Rotary clubs in their cities so they could duplicate it. So this is so exciting, so long-term, so significant, and so sustainable. And as they said, this is so critical. When someone has no ID, they don't exist. I know Greg Russian was telling me, who's deputy city manager, retired police chief, of, there's people when they're in prison, their ID expires. Then when they come out, they have no identity. So they can't even start over because they can't apply for anything. And that's just one example. So, it's exciting that our club is going to be making a direct difference. Go Plano West Rotary. All right. Well, now I'm going to turn it over to our amazing membership chair, Roxana, for our membership moment. Take it away, Roxana.
Membership moment. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Roxana, and this is our membership moment. Before we start with our program, in case you didn't know, our member, Roger Levy, he wasn't feeling good, and I do not have details, but he's feeling much better, and he can't wait to be in our meetings soon. So please keep him in his mind for prayers. And also our heart goes to Sam Yam, who lost his grandfather in Nepal. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, Sam Yam, and your family. Right now he's in Austin. Is it Glenn, Austin, or Houston? I think it's Austin. Yeah. Now for our membership moment, every month, members in our club will be our guests, and they will present themselves. Since we are a lot right now, we need to know about everyone. So everybody's gonna have a chance to ask questions to this special member. And this week, I have the honor to introduce a valuable member of our club and our community. And her name is, I'm gonna share the screen here. Oh. Sam told me how to do this.
We can see your screen. We see.
No, but that's the wrong screen. Hold on. Hold on. Or you're seeing all my screens. Oh, there it is.
Rosalind. All right.
Rosalind Johnson. So Rosalind, this is your time. Tell us about yourself.
Oh my goodness, I need a book actually. For those of you guys who know me, and for those of you who don't, I'm happy to be here. Honored to share. I'm Rosalind Johnson. I grew up here in Plano, Texas, and I graduated from Plano East in 1990 and something. Okay. I went to school at Langston University and HBCU in Oklahoma and got my undergrad in English and my master's degree from UNT many years later in curriculum and instruction, master's in education. I've got 4 children, age range from 23 to 13, and I've got an amazing husband. And oh, I'm also a Plano ISD employee. That's my office and my badge. So I've been a Plano ISD educator for the last 14 years. Really excited to do it. I started off at Clark High School for 5 years and have been at Plano West now. This is my 9th year at Plano West. So grateful to be here.
thank you, Rosalind. That was awesome. For those, Rosalind's an amazing woman. And so I hope I've gotten to know her well over the last year. Actually, first because she was a Plano West employee or Plano West Senior High School employee, and then as a fellow Rotarian. So I hope everybody else takes the opportunity of getting to know Rosalind. With summer, we expect to see her more volunteering because as all of our other education members, they got a little more free time, maybe. It depends. So, well, awesome. Thank you. Great for the membership moment. I have no idea who Roxana is going to pick out. So
It was
I was
a surprise.
she had me like all on edge. Well, let me quickly go through our club minutes. Let me go, or our club, let's see, boom, boom. Everything should be good. So for our club business, I hope everybody has you guys see the screen, right? Cool. Okay. Preksha Shah, we will be inducting her next week. And so I hope everybody's been able to get to know her. She's just graduated UTD in her master's program, and she's starting her new job, and her parents are Rotarians, and she's excited to join our club. I also want to point out, is Fred Beamendorfer here? No. Camp Ryla and Rotary Youth Exchange, Rotary has made the decision they're both going to be virtual programs. So we have a number of Rylarians in our club, and so they understand how that sucks for the kids. Yeah. But hey, you got to pivot and make do. It's better to have a virtual Ryla than no Ryla. So, and I think both Zane and Samyam are counselors, so they're intimately involved. So if you want to know anything about Ryla, talk to Fred Beamerdorf, our Ryla chair, Zane and Samyam, who are counselors. Then we also have Antonio, Jenny, Bianca that have graduated Ryla as well. I want everybody to take a look at that link, the bit.ly Rotary Apparel. We have a new and improved ability to get these great shirts. Roxana did a lot of research and found a vendor that doesn't require like 25 unit ordered at the time. So her and Michelle redid the Sign Up Genius. You get to buy what you want, get it to you. So they were able to, actually Roxana was able to find a great selection. So use the link, bit.ly Rotary Apparel. Also, you received a bunch of different notices for the district awards. These are awards that happen every year. Typically, I think, the best of my knowledge, the last time our club submitted nominees was 2012, I think, when Mike Walker was president. We actually won something then. So this year we want to submit nominees for a number of categories because our club is doing amazing things, and Rotary International says we're the model Rotary Club. So, we should win some awards. Click on that link. The way the process works, as opposed to our nomination committee selecting people, we want everybody in the club to select the people. So vote. And so based on the votes are who we're going to nominate. So please go ahead and vote so that way our club can decide who we want to nominate. And these people will compete with Rotarians from all the other 61 clubs. And it's based on what they're doing this Rotary year. So that's very important. From July 1st through now is what they're being judged on. And we have to include those accomplishments in their write-up. So please take advantage of that. I think you're going to be getting text messages from Zane and Roxana throughout the week to encourage you to vote. And we're going to, I think we're supposed to wrap it up in Friday, right? Good. I saw a shake head. Also, as Roxana said, pray for Roger and Samyam. Roger and his wife, they've been ill. They said they're getting better, but always need prayer. And then Samyam, he lost his grandfather in Nepal. And he was just telling us this morning at the board meeting, they're not going to be able to go there. So pray for Samyam and his family. Now, let's talk about what we did. I got to move quickly. You guys can see everything, so I'm just going to list this off, not explain. We had a very successful Police Appreciation Day. We delivered 250 meals to all the on-duty civilians and police last Tuesday while the chief was speaking to us. Evan was chair of that. We had a number of club members that supported him on that. Great job, everybody. Julia Lynn, who won our four-way test speech contest in our club. She's also president at the Plano Senior High School Interact. She won the district. So she is the #1 speaker for the district four-way test speech contest. She received an additional $1,000 scholarship. In a few weeks, the district's gonna award it to her virtually in our club meeting. And we also had a very successful cleanup on the Adopt a Highway that Glenn runs. We had 8 volunteers for that. On Saturday afternoon, we had 6 volunteers for our COVID block walking. I also want everybody to look Plano Magazine. They did an article on our COVID block walking story. Yay, Antonio and Bruce, who are the team leaders of it. And it was published on May 12th. If you go to our website, planowestrotary.com page, what they say, you'll see it. So you can read the article. But they did a great spread. I think John joined. John's wife and Catherine were spotlighted holding our t-shirts. And so that was very cool. So we have to thank Plano Magazine for recognizing service projects that we're doing. Now, let's talk about what's upcoming real quick. We have meal drive-through this afternoon by the amazing Catherine Goodwin. She's running it. And so good luck, Catherine, this afternoon. She's been doing it for the last few months with James. I don't want to leave out James as well. We have our PISD duo there. And then on Wednesday, this is really exciting too, in the area of homelessness. Our club is putting together a Plano overnight warming station team of volunteers. So Courtney and Brandon are in charge of that. Sign up. There's a 1-hour orientation. So if you are interested, you're not committing, but if you want to learn more about it, Zoom in on Wednesday evening, and there's an online orientation that Courtney and Brandon have prepared with the PALS organization to teach us how to be volunteers. Please sign up for that. I mean, our goal is to eventually recruit 50 volunteers because we need 25 to support an evening. So I encourage you to do that. We also have our block walking on Saturday, and Tony and Bruce, they're doing that every week until the city tells us they don't need our help anymore. And they still need our help. And then curbside meals. That's another Catherine James. That's where we're going to be providing meals every Tuesday. We're partnering with the school district in the morning and the afternoon at 3 schools. They actually came back and asked us to add a 3rd school. So at Clark, Bowman, and now Shepton. And so start signing up. We're doing it for the summer. And so it's every Tuesday morning and the afternoon. It's 2 or 3 volunteers per school, and Catherine and James are running that. So that's what's going on. So now what I'm going to do is turn this over to Antonio, who is our new program chair, and he's going to introduce our speaker. Take it away, Antonio.
Hi, I would just like to thank Brady Josephson for showing up to our meeting today to speak to us about working for his company Next After. Brady's work has been featured in the Huffington Post, NPR, and the Chronicle of Philanthropy, among others. And he was born in Canada, and he currently resides in McKinney, Texas, with his wife Liz, son Hendrix, and dog Melly. And he's going to speak to us about how he does his charity work. Take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm going to be talking a lot about generosity and just seeing what Alex was going through. You know, y'all are living it. Y'all are doing it in your community, which is amazing to see. We talk a lot about fundraising and money, but volunteering and doing the kind of boots on the ground work is really imperative as well. So I'm trying to share my screen here. Let's see if this will work. Y'all see the slide? Cool. So I'm a pinch hitter, by the way, in honor of baseball. Tim Kachuriak, who's our founder, was originally scheduled to speak. He's away, so he asked me, hey, do you want to do this thing? I said, sure, before having any idea what he asked me to do. And then I found out it was this. So I'm just going to walk through a little bit of what we do at Next After. And the reason why we're speaking is we're based in Plano. So we're a Plano-based company. And what we exist to do at a high level, what our actual vision is to unleash the most generous generation in the history of the world. It's a pretty big vision. It's a pretty ambitious vision, but it's something that we get up and go to work every single day. And how we go about doing that is decoding what works in fundraising. And then we make that as accessible as we can to as many nonprofits as we can. And so what that looks like on the business side is there's really three components to our business. First and foremost, we're a research lab where we have over 2,800 experiments now that have been ran with nonprofits to see what works when it comes to online fundraising in particular, emails, landing pages, donations, ads, those types of things. And then we also do research studies where we become a donor ourselves and observe nonprofit behavior to see what are they doing well or what are they doing poorly and how can we help them. Our consultancy is our core business. I'll share a little bit more about consultancy, but we typically work with large organizations. So Compassion International and Save the Children and Dallas Theological Seminary and KCBI right here in Dallas are a few that we have, about 40 clients. And we help them grow their online fundraising and digital marketing. But what we notice is, the number of organizations that we can really only help is, 30, 40. It's a small, small number. And if we really want to unleash generosity, we have to find other ways to help more organizations. So that's where we launched the Next Chapter Institute. And that's really what I oversee, where it's trying to create training materials. We have 8 online courses, workshops. We do workshops once a month. Speaking, we've done over 100 speaking gigs in the past 2 years around the world to try and share all of our learnings and findings from testing and data and research to help as many nonprofits, big and small, Canada, US, around the world as we possibly can. So on the research lab side, I actually want to do a little experiment with you here. So I'm going to show you some real experiments with real nonprofits. And if you can just do me a favor, I'm going to have you just chat in A or B, depending on which one you think raised more money. So chat in A or B. And so it's going to look something like this. So this is a fundraising email. So this is what a nonprofit would send. The goal is to get you to make a donation. The copy in this case is the exact same. So the text is the exact same, A and B. The only difference is one has more design and one doesn't. So there you go. A or B, which one do you think raised more money? Give you a few seconds to chat it in. A or B? B, seeing a lot of Bs, basically nothing but Bs. All right, I'm going to show you just 2 more and we'll do the same type of thing. This is an email. Don't worry about what the words actually say, but one is 550 words long and the other one is 2,200 words long in an email. I think I wrote papers in grad school that were shorter than 2,200 words. So yes, A, a lot of A's there. Now you get the anchoring effect where no one wants to pick B, right? All right, one more here. This is a donation page. Everything is the exact same. This is Buckner International, another local organization, works in adoption foster care. The only difference is B has a video and A has text. So seeing a lot of B's, B, 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 B. Okay, so let's see how you did. You ready? Ready to pass this exam? Let's see. In this case, by actually removing design elements, they were able to increase donations 112.5%. In this case, the 2,200 word email increased donations 106%. And in this case, by actually taking text from a video and putting on a page instead of a video, they increased conversion rate of the amount of people were giving 560%. So how'd you do? Good? Yeah, we kind of cherry picked a few of those experiments that are most counterintuitive, but the biggest thing that we found is like testing trumps intuition every single time. Whether you're a for-profit or a nonprofit, we do this all the time where we think we like heavily designed emails. We think we like short emails. We think we like certain things, but this is where testing is so absolutely imperative because monitoring human behavior, what humans actually do, is really, really critical to inform the strategies that we do for fundraising and marketing. So those are just some of the experiments and things that we've learned. And then we'll kind of marry that with like donor psychology principles and behavioral economics research to better understand humans. And then we try to better understand donors where we become a donor ourselves. So the biggest research study we just completed, we gave to 585 organizations in 9 countries and 6 languages. We gave them each $20 or 20 pounds or 20 euros, whatever it might be. And we captured the experience to try to understand what is it like to be a donor in each of these different countries to try and figure out what are nonprofits doing and how can they improve. You know, it's one of the other forms of research. And then, as I mentioned on the Institute side, we try to take these lessons. So when we see plain text emails or more copy or whatever the common pattern is in our research, we'll turn it into a course like email fundraising optimization. And then we'll allow nonprofits to take it anywhere from a 4 to 8 hour course so they can get more training based off evidence and data, not just off what we think and say and feel. Then a few years ago, we decided to kind of start our own event because we just wanted to see how much money we could lose, basically. And it's a lot. Running events is not, it's not easy. It's been a great thing for our business overall, but not on a direct ROI level. The last in-person one we did in Denver, we had a Greatest Showman theme. That's our founder in that top hat and coat up front, pretending to be in the circus. We like to try to go big, and a lot of nonprofits, if you've been around and volunteer, you know, a lot of it is very small budgets, no professional development. And so we try to take the approach of, if people are going to take time off, we're going to make it as fun and as beneficial as possible. So we do things like open bar, we cover all the food, we try to make it as great of an experience for people as possible, because we know they're probably going to go back and not have necessarily the same types of budgets and resources that a lot of for-profit companies possibly would have. We had to make it virtual last year, which was not great. We did as best we can, you know, in the virtual environment. And this year we're happy to be back live in Austin, actually. We're expecting hopefully close to 1,000 people in Austin, Texas to gather once again, which will be a special thing that we can do. And then consulting, this is our core business. So this is where about 80 to 85% of our revenue comes from, is consulting. And just a couple key points on the consultancy, and then happy to answer any other questions you might have. But again, we generally work with larger organizations. Partly that's when we do testing, you need a lot of traffic or a lot of emails or a lot of volume. Otherwise, you won't be able to validate any tests. So we typically work with larger organizations. They normally have some content in an existing audience, and we kind of optimize their fundraising. We don't typically work with smaller nonprofits. So we work with really about 3.6% of the market, that kind of top tier, but that 3.6% of nonprofits accounts for about 80% of all nonprofit contributions. So the space in general is very, very, very top heavy, and donor programs are generally very, very top heavy as well. We do work in two ways. One, every client starts with what we call a core process, or a 3-month roadmap, where we do all kinds of data and exploration and build a 3-year plan. That's one project. And then if they say, yes, we want to work with you, then we're just like consulting. There's a retainer and projects type model. And so again, all this is rooted in kind of data and evidence. So this is the type of deliverable that we would present to the client. It kind of has design of experiments, so tests that they should run, as well as a 2 to 3 year plan with budgets and projections. And then we just follow that plan as best as we can. And we found this kind of model really seemed to work well, not just in the short term, but overall. You know, our longest client, about 6 years, over 6 years, they raised about $800,000 online to now it's actually over $11 million this year where they're raising online, kind of using these optimization techniques and approaches. And we'll often see pretty significant results in terms of the amount of revenue, but more so donors and gifts that we're able to bring in by basing everything more on data and research and evidence. So that's just a little bit about the company. I don't know if you have any other questions or how much other time we have, but I really appreciate you giving us the time to just share a little bit more about this Plano-based business that's trying to do something pretty big in a pretty important space.
Brady, thank you. Originally, Tim was going to talk about online optimizing online fundraising. Are there any tips or anything you could provide? We do have a number of people here that are either in leadership or involved with different nonprofits, as well as we Rotary. You know, we have our Rotary Foundation, and so we'd love to learn from you while we're here, because we still have about 10 more minutes left for you to speak.
Great. Well, I'm happy to riff. And again, we've got a lot of free resources as well that we can send your way and point you to, and happy to give you all discount codes that you can use to access some courses as well if you're interested. In all of our research, the biggest thing that we found that moves the needle is what we call the value proposition. And the value proposition is really the reason why you should do something. And the question we ask ourselves is, why should I give to you as opposed to another organization, or not at all? That's the question that you need to be answering in the mind of the donor. And this isn't unique to nonprofit, right? Why should I buy from you as opposed to another business, or not at all? Those are the decisions that people are faced with. And how we articulate that value proposition, in this case, like on a donation page, that's really what's going on here, is the main thing that matters when it comes to donations. So what we see is the nonprofits focus a lot on, you know, the technology and the tool and the website, and those things are absolutely very, very important. But the most important thing is this understanding of the message that you communicate. Why is my donation even needed today? And what we find is about 30% of organizations globally don't even communicate that at all. Zero text or copy on their donation page, right? We kind of assume a donation. You maybe assume a donation, you assume a purchase. But what we've seen is that people need that value communicated, not just once, but throughout the whole giving experience. We'll put 2 snippets of text under that very last button there, under the donate button, and still influence giving up to 30%, because that's the very last moment where people can still say, maybe I don't want to give my money away today. So it's not just like a one-time communication thing, but moving from email to website, through the form, through completion, communicating why is a donation needed throughout the whole journey is by far the most important thing that we've learned in our research. So in terms of how you go about doing that, there's 4 factors that we often talk about. Appeal, why would someone like it? Exclusivity, what makes you unique? Credibility, why should I trust you? And clarity, do I even understand you? And of those 4 factors, the one that has the biggest opportunity is just clarity. You know, next time you go to make a donation or look at your own website, for example, just try to ask yourself that question of, do I just understand in a simple way what my donation will do today? And a lot of organizations make it very complicated, right? There's acronyms, there's insider language. You maybe don't even talk about the fact that you're in Plano. We see that all the time. Local based organizations just assume people know that you're based, you know, locally, when the fact that you're the West Plano Rotary Club is something that makes you exclusive and unique, is that you're in West Plano, right? So focusing on what makes you exclusive or unique is really, really important. And nonprofits often don't do that, right? They say, we provide hope and help to children around the world. That's great, but I have no idea what you do or what you would do with my $50. So we work a lot on organizations to kind of crystallize their messaging down to something that's a lot more clear, not necessarily simple. A lot of the work nonprofits do is incredibly complex, but clear. I need to easily understand what the problem is and how my donation will actually help. So those are some of the things on the messaging. And then why I brought up this email is the kind of an overarching concept that we talk about in email fundraising is the more personal or the more human looking sounding feeling an email is, the better it will perform. So that's partly what's going on with this design, is by removing design elements, it actually feels a little bit more personal. That's a little bit of what's going on in this email here that's extremely long, but you can see that this kind of email on the left or right, there's 0 design elements, and we'll often send emails from, you know, Alex Johnson. They won't come from Plano West Rotary. They won't come from the brand. They'll come from an individual. And we'll do this with really large organizations. You know, Save the Children will send to 1 million people, and we'll send it from Doug Shaw, you know, an individual. We are wired to connect with humans, and a brand is basically a proxy for a human connection. And so we're saying, let's just go straight to the source and allow someone to connect as a human. There's also the fact that about 30% of emails come from an individual. So very few people are using a name in the sender line of an email. So it's a way to kind of stand out. So we'll often say, how could you just write an email in Gmail or Outlook as if you would to a friend and just put that in your email service provider and actually just send that out? And that will almost always outperform this kind of heavily designed, heavily thought out, you know, branded email that's been through 6 rounds of revisions. Almost all the time, that email's not going to work as well as just you sitting down and saying, I'm just going to pretend like I'm writing one email to Alex, and then I'm going to send it to hundreds of people or thousands of people. And that principle it kind of typically works. And then throughout the giving experience, we try to infuse that in ads and donation pages to try to make it as human as possible. And by removing some design elements, using tone and more human language is one of the ways to do that. It also has the added benefit is it's way quicker. You don't need a designer. You know, you don't need 6 rounds of revision. You talk as a human to humans. We do it all the time. And then there's this temptation when we sit behind a keyboard to kind of turn very cold and calculating, and we kind of talk to hundreds. And none of us want to be talked to as if we're hundreds. We all want to be talked to as if we're one. And so, you know, these are pretty common principles, but we have to prove them over and over and over again with nonprofits to show here's how more human fundraising isn't just a nice principle, but it actually results in more revenue for your cause, which is what, you know, they ultimately care about, what we're ultimately hired to do. Does that help? Is that better? I'm happy to keep going. I can do this all day if you want.
Well, I had a quick question. So like you mentioned that it's kind of difficult for a smaller nonprofit to run tests. Like how would a smaller nonprofit that, you know, doesn't have thousands of people on their email list, how would they run tests or figure out ways to optimize what they're doing?
Yeah, it's a great question. So first part of it is that's why we have our research library public facing. So anyone can access those 2,800 experiments. So small nonprofits maybe say, man, I can't test, but I see that this worked for this nonprofit. Maybe I should just do that for my own nonprofit instead of being it based off my own opinion. At least it's based off some results, some data, some experiment. But small nonprofits can test. The thing that you need to do with testing is make more radical changes. So the smaller your sample size, the smaller you have emails or the less traffic you get, the bigger the change you need to make to see a difference. So often people will test, say, a button color, right? Instead of a green button, let's test a red button. You need to have so much traffic to visit that page for such a small difference to actually show up and make it be a statistically significant result. So the concept is called a radical redesign, where you'll say in your email, you normally send those heavily designed emails from your brand. You could have a hypothesis that's saying, by making our emails more human looking, sounding, and feeling, we believe that we can increase engagement as measured by clicks. And you can change who the email's from. You can change what the design looks like. You can change the tone. So you're changing multiple variables, but along a common hypothesis. It's called the variable cluster. And so now that's a very different looking email, right? You've got the design, branded, corporate speak, and then this thing that looks totally different. So even if you're only sending to groups of maybe 500, you could still see a statistically significant result. Whereas if you send the heavily branded email and you change one image or a few words, it's never going to validate. So you do have to change your testing strategy if you're smaller and have less results. But that's also kind of why we're trying to create these guides and ebooks of just saying look, it's going to be difficult for you to test. Hopefully you can learn from what we've learned and just use this as a better starting point, as opposed to just relying on what everyone else is doing or your gut instinct. That's a really good question. And it is really tricky to test in smaller organizations.
I have a question as well. If you
Great.
All right. Yeah. So I was just wondering, based on the slides you showed us with the A/B example, it seemed like the word texts work much better. So would you say oftentimes just words, no picture, no video work better than a picture or video?
Yeah, almost all the time. And a few caveats. One is this is very much talking about conversion. So making a purchase, making a donation. Video and imagery is unbelievable on social media, reporting back, before you get to an ask of saying, here's the impact that you're having in the local Plano community or what you're having with, children in Uganda. Storytelling is amazing. But when it comes time to say, make your $50 donation today, typically videos are really bad. They're really slow. You go to a donation page and then the reason why you should give is buried in a video. You click play and then you got to sit and wait and watch for a couple minutes. Whereas most people complete a donation within 60 seconds. And so if you're making someone watch a 2-minute video to get the value, it's really, really, really slow. So that's the challenge with video. And then images, what's really tough is it's very difficult to control the perception, right? I can show you a picture on a donation page of a smiling kid. And Alex will go, wow, that organization is so powerful, so impactful. This kid is so happy. They must do great work. And Antonio might go, this kid's happy. They don't need my money, right? It's so hard to control what people perceive in images. Age of kid, race of kid, gender of kid, all these things evoke different connotations in our minds. So generally speaking, it's safer to just not really show images and focus on copy, which you can control a lot more. We have seen a few times where if I'm telling a story about Jackson, who's a 14-year-old boy in Rwanda, who's studying to become an electrical engineer one day, which is a real story, an organization I used to work for. And then we show a smaller picture of Jackson, say working on an engine. That direct connection and a supporting image, we call it, we have seen that work, but that's the only time where we've really seen it work. And then last caveat is the average age of an online donor is about 65. So typically we're targeting people that are at 45 is a young donor. We're typically targeting people that are 45, 55, even 65. And so that's where some of this more simple, personal, copy-based approach typically works better as well. Although we haven't seen any evidence to say that younger demographics or younger age groups don't respond to it as well. So that's a little bit behind why the videos and images don't often work at the time of donation nearly as much as you might think that they do.
Thank you.
Good question.
So if anybody else doesn't have a question, this is Catherine. Could you say those 4 areas that you were talking about in terms of the value proposition?
Yeah,
Appeal?
of course. It's appeal. Like, why would you like this? Why would you want this? Exclusivity. What is unique about you? Credibility. Why should I trust you? And kind of says who, right? Just because you say you're trustworthy, this is where testimonials and stats and numbers often come in handy. And then clarity. Clarity is the 4th kind of element of value proposition. And hopefully you have all 4, but like I said, what we find is clarity is often the easiest and most important one. You know, even if you're a startup nonprofit and you don't have a lot of credibility yet, even if you're not the most exclusive, as long as you're clear, then it's easier for you to raise money.
I can't tell you, Brady, how exciting your presentation is to me, because for some crazy reason, a bunch of nonprofits that I've been volunteering with think I'm going to be good at fundraising, which I've never particularly done or focused on. So I am really excited. So if you could pass on anyway, and we are talking about local, smaller groups, and I'm talking, one of the participants here is Jerry Chambers, who's with the foundations. So obviously at a much larger scale than what we're used to. But I know some of our other members would really appreciate if you could pass on codes and ways to get to you so that we can do a better job for the smaller nonprofits that we're helping.
Yeah, for sure. Happy to. You know, we focus almost exclusively on digital, but these concepts like value proposition, it doesn't matter if it's an in-person event, if it's through the mail, that concept remains true. People need to have a strong understanding of why a donation is needed and what it will do, regardless of channel, right? So some of those concepts, some more advanced concepts, like retargeting techniques and instant donation pages. And there's probably some stuff in our courses and resources that's not very applicable, but the core I think is absolutely applicable. Humans don't just change how we make decisions because we're online versus offline, or, just because we're a few years older, we don't fundamentally change the core drivers of, who we are and why we give. So happy to share that back with you and give you all there's a couple free courses that we have now. Some sponsors have made a couple courses free, but I'll also get you a discount code and you can share it with nonprofits you serve with. You can use it yourself. We don't really care how you use it. We just want more people to use it.
Brady, thank you very much for speaking to us. I mean, we have a lot of nonprofit leaders in our club, plus we're a nonprofit, and because of COVID, online fundraising is something everybody's trying to do. So,
right.
Not everybody understands the challenges with it, but those that have tried, they understand. So I do want to point people to their website. I linked it, nextafter.com. They do have a lot of free resources. Free is good when you're a small nonprofit, or even when you're a big nonprofit, in terms of courses, books, guides. They do a really good job of providing resources so that obviously we connect them up with big nonprofits that want to spend some money. But one thing that we do, Brady, for all of our speakers, we make a donation. It's a live donation, not online, in your name. In appreciation for your time and program, Plano West Rotary will donate $10 in your name, Brady Josephson, to Rotary's Polio Plus Fund. Together with the 2-to-1 matching funds from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, your $10 turns into $30, and it will provide a polio vaccine for about 50 children. Now, Rotary is using its polio infrastructure because we've been trying to eradicate polio since the 70s. So there's a lot of infrastructure globally, and especially the underserved countries. We're using our polio infrastructure to aid in the vaccination of COVID-19. So your donation is not only going to eradicate polio, it's going to also be part of eradicating COVID-19.
Very cool. Thank you for that.
So I want to thank you. Just for everybody know how I found them? They had a Facebook ad about online fundraising. I'm like, I need to learn about online fundraising.
We got you.
And so then that's how I connected up with their president, Tim. And so we set this up many, many months ago. As everybody knows, we plan our program 6 months in advance. And so, I've been looking forward because this is something that our club, is actively involved in, is online fundraising. Well, thank you, Brady. Now, what I would like to do is remind everybody, next week, we have street side showers where a number of people who, if you're involved in the homelessness, you know Lance Olinsky. He's the executive director for it, Street Side Showers. They provide showering facilities for the homeless. And so every quarter we create meals, which they will be posted soon. Michelle is working with Zane. We're going to have it posted on our website, for we're going to be asking people to make meals either at their home or together at the restaurant and make donations. And so we'll be providing more donations to Street Side Showers, but next week Lance will speak to us. Our club has been partnering with Street Side Showers for what, 4 years, Glenn?
Probably about, 3 or 4
So
years.
I think it was when Michelle was president. That's when it started, right?
I think so.
And so I've never heard him speak, so I'm looking forward to it. So definitely come next week to hear the executive director and founder of Street Side Shower speak to us about the great cause that they do. Well, now what I want to do is ask Tara to lead us in the four-way test as we close out our meeting.
Okay, the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Rotary.
Rotary. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a fantastic week. And thank you, Brady. Bye.